Hello there, this is Welsh ASMR 82. Hey, how you doing? So in today's football related ASMR video, meant to help you relax and fall asleep, we're going to take a flick through this booklet that I didn't get a chance to do before the World Cup started. I'm going to be away over Christmas when the Premier League and other leagues start back up. So I'm recording this before Christmas, and I will start doing more up-to-date results videos again when I'm back from my little sojourn. So we're just going to flick through, and I'm just going to point out a couple of things that I enjoyed when I was reading this. It goes through all the World Cup groups and what to expect and what might happen, so we can have a little giggle at how wrong they were with all the shocks that we saw. How's that sound? And if you enjoy the video, maybe the end result is you fall fast asleep. But if you don't, then you might want to drop a comment, or if you're new, you might want to click subscribe to get similar videos like this in the future. Let's make a start, shall we? I don't know why every picture of Jurgi Löw's got his finger up his nose, by the way. He has got a bad reputation for doing that. So it talked about the venues. I think my favourite venue was either, from the outside at least, Al Bayt. I really like Al Bayt means the house in Arabic. So this is a Bedouin tent design. And I really like Al Janoub as well. Is that the Pearl, maybe? Taubut. Oh, it's sails. Okay. It's meant to look like sails. And what I'm fascinated about is this stadium, the 974. So basically, it's made up of shipping containers, and I think Uruguay have bought it, so that when they host a tournament in the future, they're just going to like make this stadium in Uruguay. So it's going to be totally reused. It's amazing. So, like, sustainable. Because the rest of these stadiums, you know, they get about 5,000 fans of these club teams. So they're going to be empty. So, you want it, come get it, the golden boot. So it said Harry Kane 6-1 to win it. Kylian Mbappe did get it, so 8-1. Karim Benzema was ruled out of the tournament on the eve, so 11-1. Cristiano Ronaldo 16-1. Lionel Messi 16-1, and he nearly got it. Romelu Lukaku had a terrible tournament, missed everything in that final game and was injured before it. 19-1. Neymar 19-1. He got injured as well for the first game or two games. And Robert Lewandowski 28-1. He did get two, didn't he? Were they both penalties, or was one? I think it was one goal and one penalty, yeah. And they were his first goals at a World Cup. It's talking about some rivalries, namely Iran and the USA. I watched the one of the interviews before that game, and the Iranian interviewer was so rude to the captain of the USA. He handled it so amazingly. I would have been very rude in return, but he was a gentleman. Ghana, Uruguay because of Suarez. South Korea, Portugal because of the 2002 World Cup results, and Serbia, Switzerland because of a match which happened. Was it the last World Cup? Yeah, in the 2018 World Cup group stage. 1-0 ones to watch, were they right? Gavi had a solid tournament at 18. Guardiola was sensational. Couldn't deal with Messi on that one game. Jonathan David, no, we didn't really see anything from him. However, the other Canadian was sensational. I'll come to him later. Saab, no, didn't do that well. Teketalare, no, didn't even see him. Kubo, no, don't think he barely played. Urien Timber, I don't remember him. Choumeni was fantastic for France. So, Qatar were really poor. It says, what will happen if Ali and Afif can click? Qatar could get within sight of the last 16, no idea. Not a single point. To see if a nation where foreign workers make up the majority of the population can generate some real World Cup fever. Probably not, though. I think it was okay. In the end, it didn't, like, sometimes when the host goes out, the competition goes a bit flat. But, yeah, it was okay, I thought. I thought it helped that Morocco got so far because everyone from the Arab world got behind them instead. Netherlands, most likely to repeat Euro 2020 by winning their group convincingly before falling short. Yeah, kind of, that is what happened. The poor Dutch, they always just don't seem to get there. What will happen after easily topping their group? Yeah, the Netherlands start well in the knockout stages but lack the world-class quality to make it beyond the quarter-finals. Yeah, exactly that. Senegal. So, star player Sadio Mane, but very sadly he wasn't fit for the tournament. Such a shame. I just moved my lights to get rid of the glare, but now the glare's over there. So yeah, Senegal, what will happen? The dream ends in the last 16, yeah, against England. Ecuador, what will happen? Star player Moises Caicedo, no, it was definitely the striker, Ana Valencia. He was fantastic. Basically, he was like injured every game and just came off, had a nice back, started the next match, was sensational, injured, come off. What will happen? Following a tooth-and-nail battle with Senegal for second place, Ecuador's lack of firepower, the 6 most recent fixtures finished 0-0, 0-0, 1-0, 0-0, 1-0, 1-1, proves their undoing. Correct. Although I think they actually scored, was Senegal 3-2? He said it actually scored 2 goals. Star player for the USA, Christian Pulisic. Yes, definitely, sensational. Although, to be honest, I could have picked about 3 others. I really enjoyed watching Anthony Robinson, Musa, Pulisic, and there were a couple of others that aren't in that formation that were really good. The captain, actually, Adams, yes. What will happen? They're edged out by Wales and their US-based captain Gareth Bale. Gareth Bale did actually score and was the only player to score against them in the group stage. So partly true, but no, they were really good. I thought they did better than most people, including me, expected. England. Star player Harry Kane. No, I disagree. In this tournament, I thought their star player was Saka. I thought he was fantastic. What will happen? A slow start. No, what was it against Iran? Like 5-2? And the usual capitulation against the US. Yeah, they did actually, didn't they? They should have lost that match. It's followed by a tidal wave of expectation, a swift crash, and the promise of an inquest into another golden generation's wretched failure. Actually, I don't think it's been that. From some pundits, yes. Some pundits are criticising the manager, Gareth Southgate. and saying that, they didn't actually beat anyone decent. The first decent team they came up against, they lost to. And others are saying, oh, well, we got to the quarterfinals, so if we had beaten France, I think we would have won the whole thing. So I think he's got away with it lightly. I agree with Jamie Redknapp. I thought he didn't actually do that well, and that Iran game was flattering. Had they just won that game 1-0, then drawn with the USA 0-0, should have lost. Pulisic hit in the crossbar. Really poor Wales side that couldn't afford to do anything other than just try and get a win, which is, had we needed a draw to get through, we would have played really differently, but we tried to nick it on the break and it just didn't work. Our formation was just a complete mess. What will happen? Elbowing their way through on goal difference. We scored 1 goal. Page and Co earn a meeting with the Netherlands, whose record against Wales is played 10, won 10. I was hoping it was going to be that way, but it wasn't meant to be, unfortunately. I read this bit earlier on, and it was spot on. Whoever wrote this, I don't know who the author of this is, but I was like, wow, that is basically what Twitter's been like for the last month. Lesson from qualifying: make substitutions. It's hard to take off match winners, but when Ramsey and Bale both played the full 90 with Wales, defending a tight playoff lead against Austria, their fatigue showed. Qatar would be draining and fresh legs vital against teams with more accustomed to the heat, i.e. Iran. The game against the Americans could be meaningless if Iran have already lost to England and Wales, even if they do make life difficult for them at first. I only saw the highlights because I was obviously watching Wales-England on the other channel, and it looked like the USA dominated. Yeah. Mexico. What will happen? Messi and Lewandowski are too much for a team that lags behind its predecessors, and Mexico make their first group stage exit since 1978. Yep, spot on, they just didn't have a striker. Such entertaining football, amazing fans in the stadium, but they had all the energy, running, athleticism, but just no one to put into the back of the net. Argentina. What will happen? They lose to one of their black beasts, either Germany, their executioners in 2006, 10 and 14, or France, who sent La Albiceleste packing 4 years ago with that ludicrous 4-3 win in the last 16. Which one will face them first? Well, Germany were knocked out, of course, in the group stage, and it was France in the final, and so you sort of were nearly there, but actually they overcome that black beast. Poland. Anger awaits them back home if they fall, and they take a shred. What? And they'll straddle a fine line between leaving the group and leaving the tournament, with their match against Mexico deciding which side of the line they'll fall. The last 16 is the likely limit. Yeah, it was. Saudi Arabia. Plucky losses, but losses nonetheless, except against the eventual winners of the entire tournament. But yeah, they should have done better against Poland and Mexico as well, actually. They were really plucky. I enjoyed watching them. Oh, Denmark, one of the shocks. The Danes have France's number. They nearly drew with them and could top the group. Well, I said they would. To avoid Argentina, then it's Euro 2020 revenge mission against England in the last 8. Finish bottom of the group. They just didn't have the energy or the goals that they had in the previous 2 tournaments. despite going into the hard half of the draw. The potential semi-final with Brazil could decide the tournament. No, because Brazil didn't make it that far. Tunisia. Tough to break down. The Tunisians will probably pick up a point against Australia, but that will be very much it. Wrong. They lost to Australia. They drew with Denmark and they beat France. So they were actually pretty unlucky to go out, weren't they? It's their best tournament ever, I think. It was fantastic. Australia. The lack of potency in attack results into a winless campaign and early exit. Totally wrong. Last 16, Neely with the last kick of the game drew, and to take it to extra time against Argentina, the eventual winners. They were so impressive. Japan. What will happen? Through a surprise against a European, although a surprise against a European giant is possible, Japan have more Middle East experience than most. The group stage may be the limit. That would also continue the pattern at their 6 World Cup appearances so far, alternating group and last 16 exits. So they actually beat both Germany and Spain, lost bizarrely to Costa Rica, and kept it really tight in the last 16 match and could have easily gone through against Croatia on penalties, but fluffed their lines against the penalty specialists. Spain. They reach the last 16 full of hope, at which point Morata fluffs his lines and grimly inevitable shootout pain ensues. Yeah, that's basically what happened. It wasn't really all Morata's fault, but oh god, this will be funny. Germany. They may not win a 5th World Cup, but Germany will play a lot better than in recent tournaments. Quarter-finals, semi-finals. Could they even replicate 2002 and sneak through to the final while everybody's backs are turned? No, they cannot. Costa Rica, a repeat of 2018. Yes. Not a repeat, unfortunately, of Brazil, where they got out of the group and got to the quarter-final. Okay, Croatia. You can never tell with the darkest of horses. With these darkest of horses, they could come unstuck in the group stage or go very far indeed. They came 3rd. Belgium, this will be entertaining. A repeat of Euro 2020, Belgium will navigate their group, look promising, then the first major title contender they encounter will prove too strong and signal the end of a generation. Didn't even make it out of the group, finished bottom? No, just above Canada bottom, I think. Morocco, this'll be fun. This group, when you think about it, poor Canada. I was thinking the other day, Canada were in a group with Belgium and the 2 teams that were in the semi-finals, Croatia and Morocco. I mean, what a tough group. And they played so well. Alphonso Davies was their star player, yes. He was amazing. Morocco. The Atlas Lions will probably end up being outgunned by the bigger boys, but only in the semi-final. Canada. A tough group featuring 2018 finalist Croatia and 3rd place Belgium, offers the Canucks, sorry, couldn't read the word in the dark, a rough return to the world stage, but also a learning experience for the 2026 co-hosts. Yeah, spot on, really. When you consider that, they really should have got that lead against Belgium, but missed the penalty, and then they were ahead. Yeah, they were beating Morocco and they were beating Croatia as well. Group G, Switzerland. Fate is back. Fate is back to prove that Euro 2020 was an anomaly, as Serbia's ruthless forwards beat the Swiss to the last 16. No, that's what I thought would happen, but Serbia were terrible. Brazil, pretty much that. Well, except for the plaudits part. Let's be realistic here. They put an end to a 20-year wait to lift what would be their 6th World Cup, while Neymar wins the Ballon d'Or and finally receives plaudits from his critics. No. Quarter-final. Penalty defeat to Croatia. Serbia. Defensive frailties mean they'll barely get out of the group and then lose to Portugal a year after beating them to top spot in qualifying. Didn't get out of the group. Cameroon. They could squeeze out of a tight group, but elimination looks likelier. They were really impressive though, and they managed to beat Brazil. Group H. Uruguay. They suffer their way to second in the group before a last 16 defeat to Brazil. I thought, well, they were only one goal away from getting there actually, weren't they? So, close. Portugal. Moments of mastery will punctuate performances where the lack of a clear game plan once again proves Portugal's undoing. Cue Ronaldo weeping tears of frustration, misery, pain, miscellaneous. Yeah, there was a camera following down the tunnel, crying his eyes out. Spot on. I thought they were one of the most entertaining teams in the competition. South Korea. Bento's last appearance for Portugal as a player was defeat and elimination against South Korea in 2002. It may well be that his last game in charge of South Korea's defeat and elimination at the hands of his homeland. Wrong, but close. Brazil in the last 16. Good for them. And Ghana, they make an early exit punctuated by the odd moment of brilliance. Yeah, from Kudus, Mohamed Kudus. To unexpectedly dent a Group H giant. But they played well in all their games, to be honest. They beat South Korea as well, actually. And that's that. So, I hope you enjoyed that and found it interesting reflecting on our expectations versus what happened. And if you want to write any comments, please do. If you want to subscribe if you're new, then I'd love you to stick around and come back. Thanks so much for watching,